Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be sharing with you what's in our February morning basket. Now if you haven't watched my previous videos you might be asking what is a morning basket and why are you doing it? Now the morning basket is just a simple way of gathering together resources that you use with your children either in the morning time or even throughout the day. A lot of people obviously are going to be homeschooling at this moment in time of lockdown. I know that we are, and also I just love sharing beautiful books, resources and stories with my children, and this is just a really fun and beautiful way of doing it. It's been such an inspiring thing to do, and so far we have been loving it. It's really worked well to introduce things like phonics, shapes with my son, and yeah, I can't see myself stopping doing the morning basket anytime soon. It's something I really look forward to planning as well. So yeah, I'm going to show you what we have this month. Now, if you watched my video last month for January, you'll probably see a lot of repetition. Obviously there's so many resources that I've still got this month, but I do have some really fun new art resources, some new read alouds, and of course our Exploring Nature with Children curriculum topics I've changed up. So yeah, I'm excited to dig in and show you what we've got. Jumping on in, I'll start at the back and then work up. One of the new things we got this month was a subscription to Mud and Bloom. And this is actually a UK based business, but I'm pretty sure there are similar things in the US and in other places as well. Basically each month you get a little box and inside comes lots of nature crafts. Now I wasn't entirely sure whether I was going to sign up for this because we do have access to a lot of this stuff anyway, being on a farm, and also veg growing and everything, but I did think it was going to be really good for being more accountable to doing nature crafts. So in February's box we got a little bundle of little handouts. So one of the activities was for a clay and twig hedgehog, which you could easily recreate at home without any of the resources they sent, of course. And there's a couple of seed packets, there's dwarf lupins and snow peas, and then there's a sheet for foraging for nettles. Our nettles aren't quite up in February, but you might be lucky and have some at the moment. Then there's make your own God's eye, and there's a really sweet little quiz for February, and then on the back there's a spotting guide for flowers, and I think there's two of those because I got the sibling box. So there's a lovely sheet introducing you to what's in the box and some nature news for the month. So definitely just up my street for sure, and yeah, I'm really glad I did invest in this. So what we have for February are the dwarf lupin and the snow pea seeds. I've got two of each because of the boys, and actually I think that I could have probably got away with going with a single box because the boys are both still so young. Rupert's 4, but Toby is only, you know, year and 3/4 now, so he probably could, I think they could have just shared a single box, but all these resources will last till next year anyway, so I'm quite happy that I've got extra. So these are the peat pellets. They're just sort of like concentrated soil that then you can plant your seeds in. So we've got a couple of packets of those. There's some lollipop sticks for marking the seeds, and then there was some this little sweet cotton yarn that you can make the God's Eye from. And then of course there was also a big packet of Okonorm modelling clay for the hedgehogs, and this stuff is lovely. I have never used this modelling clay before, but it comes in these gorgeous sticks, as you can see, and the modelling clay is much harder than Play-Doh, and it almost reminds me a bit of beeswax. And initially I was thinking, okay, this is going to be too tough for Rue, but actually he has loved it, and it softens up the more you play with it, and it's just really good for strengthening up little people's hands and their muscles and help them with their fine motor skills. So I'm really impressed with this. And definitely something I will buy again once we run out of this. But apparently it doesn't stain, it doesn't dry out, it's always soft, doesn't smear, and it's washable. So fantastic for little kids or older kids, and really good fun to work with. I kind of prefer this almost to Play-Doh, although obviously it can't do the same things that Play-Doh can, but it's really good fun. And we were making little snails and of course the twig hedgehog as well. So that has been so much fun and a really nice addition to our morning basket. We don't tend to do the crafts really in the morning, but it's something that I pull out in the afternoon, and it's just been going down so well. So I do recommend that as a subscription. If you find yourself slipping and not doing crafts with your kids or nature crafts, I think that's a really nice little reminder and nudge, and also gives you all the resources. So big thumbs up for that. Okay, so next up is this pink folder, and in this I've got all our printouts. I've got quite a few resources from Twinkl. I'll link it below. That's quite a handy place to go for like phonics printouts. They have lots of things on specific books, like for example, I think they've got stuff with the Gruffalo, Beatrix Potter, lots of seasonal things. So I usually print out a few things from them to work on with Rue. Then I've got a section on animals and botany studies. Most of those come from Habitat's Schoolhouse, which I really like. Then I've got some stuff on shapes. Again, that was from the Habitat Schoolhouse curriculum. Patterns and matching. So there's quite a few handouts in each of these sort of sections. Tracing letters. More stuff on phonics. Some stuff on colour. Counting. And then some art study. So like I said, most of it's from Habitat Schoolhouse. I ordered their curriculum a while ago now, and I do really like it. It's very varied, and it's what I do with the curriculums is I sort of dip it in and out of them. I'll show you actually a couple of pages. So for example, this is for their D. They've got duck, so a little bit about its anatomy, some counting. There's a bit more information on the duck. There's counting dandelions. And I do really like it, and there's way more to a section than just that, of course. But it's a nice thing to have, and then what you can do is print it out, and you can use all the printouts just loose, and that's how I like to work with most of the curriculums that we've got. I really use them in such a loose way because my kids are still so young, and Toby, it's not really relevant for Toby at all, but for Rupert, I like to kind of pick and choose as I go, and I don't want to be stuck to one curriculum because I think he's too young for it, and I just don't think it would be fun and engaging for him. But this way, if I feel he's got an interest in something, I can pull it out of our folder and we can really go in depth and see what he wants to do and see what he's excited by. So yeah, that's what's in the folder. Okay, so I have also got these still. These are the Wipe Clean books for pen control. Really fun. Both of my children love doing these. They are super cute, very colourful, and I think every child loves scribbling on things with pens. So I think part of the appeal is the fact they get like a grown-up pen and they get to scribble all over this. It comes with the pens, but of course you can buy extra if you want, and they're very inexpensive, so I do recommend those. They are good if your children love books and you want to develop their pen control. Those are fantastic. So we like to start off our morning basket with a poem or a short sort of excerpt, and I adore this book by Nicola Davis. I mentioned this quite a lot in the January basket that I did, and this is the first book of nature. It's stunning. There's just so many beautiful pages in it. Again, I still highly recommend this. I can't imagine that we will be without this. Yeah, I love it. But I do have a new edition because it was Rupert's birthday and he had so many beautiful new books, and I bought the companion to the first book of nature, which is the first book of the sea by the same author, Nicola Davis. This is illustrated by Emily Sutton, and we have been peeking into this as well because Rupert loves the beach and we live right beside the beach. So I have actually read this a little bit with him too. But how we do that in the morning is we just pick one poem or short story from those books, and we read them right at the beginning and look at the picture and talk about the picture. So yeah, I just love those books. Both of them are incredible. Definitely the Book of the Sea, I feel, will come into its own in summer in particular. So I have a couple of new counting books. This one is so lovely. It's called One Fox, a Counting Book Thriller by Kate Reed. And this has gone down so well with the boys. It's really beautiful. I'll just open it up. So it counts from 1 to 10, and then it sort of skips to 100. But it starts off with 1 famished fox, 2 sly eyes, 3 plump hens, and then it counts the eggs. It's so lovely. I love the illustrations in this. They're really clear, and it's just gone down so well with the boys. They've adored it. I do highly recommend it, and it's a nice way of sort of introducing those simple numbers up to 10. Yeah, then it skips to 100, and then it goes back down to 1 frightened fox. Really beautiful, gorgeous illustrations. Yeah, we've been loving that, and it's just such an easy book to pull out. Toby loves it too, and yeah, that's been fantastic. I've also added in our Shirley Hughes 1, 2, 3. This is from the nursery collection, which we bought on eBay a while ago. It also contains the seasonal Shirley Hughes books, as well as books on colours and noises. It's an incredible bundle. And if you've got a child who's a fan of Shirley Hughes, they're sure to love this. It's a nice, gentle introduction to counting. And my copy is definitely a bit worn out. I think we've even got a couple of rips in this, which is very tragic. But yes, we do love that. It's a beautiful book. Okay, so for shapes, we've got the same books as I mentioned in the previous video. Brown Rabbit's Shapes and Mouse Shapes by Ellen Stoll-Walsh. We're still reading those. And I also have the Montessori Shapework book, which I'm not sure I included in the last video, but it's really nice because it's got these, are these called die cuts, you know, where you can have that sort of dipped in texture. So it's quite fun for making rubbings, tracing, and brings you through quite a good array of shapes as well. Very simple, but sometimes simple is best, I think, when it comes to learning about things like shapes. So we do like this book as well, and it is great for using those die cuts or cutouts for tracing and all that kind of thing. So we do like this book as well, and that's a nice one to go with our shape collection. Okay, so moving on to art, I have a couple of new resources for this, which I'm really excited about. Of course, I've still got my Usborne famous painting cards, which we love. I think I showed those more in depth in the last video, so you can go check that out if you want to have a peek inside those. But I added in 2 new books, and the first one is this lovely board book. This is by Chronicle books, and it says A Magical Day with Matisse by Julie Merberg. And it's so beautiful. I adore this. It just goes through some of Matisse's most famous works, and some lovely descriptive language around them as well. And I'm so fond of Matisse. Matisse is one of my favourite artists because he always reminds me of my mum, who is also an artist, and she's very heavily inspired by Matisse. So I really did grow up with a lot of Matisse art books around as a child, and prints and things like that, and it's just, I feel like I know his work so well. So it's so lovely to be able to show these to the boys. And since I haven't seen my mum in so long because of COVID, it kind of makes me feel closer to her as well, which is really nice. So yes, this has been a great little addition. Now this whole series of art books, there's plenty of different artists. There's Van Gogh, there's Degas, there's all sorts. So if Matisse isn't something you want to introduce to your children, there are plenty of other ones to choose from. So I'm excited to work with those whole series. The next book I got is actually out of print, I think. It's the art book for children by Phaidon. Now, the reason I chose this is I was really trying to find an art book that had nice big pictures of paintings, and I thought this one was one of the better ones I could find. I am going to definitely be investing more into art books for the boys because I think they're just so visual and they're really beautiful. This book goes through quite a good selection of art, and it has some really good questions and sort of conversation starters as well. So this I can imagine working really well for older children and teenagers too. But this is a very large book, so the pictures are quite big on it, and you can really get close up with the painting or the piece of art and have a good look at it, which I like a lot. So yeah, I think it's really fantastic, a very good introduction to art. Some are moving pictures, Botticelli, of course, love Botticelli. So yeah, I really like it, and I think the detailed text is very, very good, and would definitely have been I sort of look at it and think this would have been so useful when I was studying art history as a child, and also as a teenager. It would have been very informative and helpful. I love these wrapped buildings by Christo and Jean-Claude. I actually studied them for my fashion design degree. Beautiful shapes. So yeah, I was really pleased with this. There's not a ton of these on eBay, so if you are keen on getting one, go grab one now, because I don't think there is that many. But I am very pleased with it, and I think this is just a great addition. I do like all the artwork that's included. Some of it is different to what you might be used to seeing as well. It's like a little bit more different choices, and yes, it's really very interesting. So yeah, a lot of artwork that you don't typically see in a children's art book, but yeah, I think it's amazing. I'm really chuffed with this. I love that it's so big, and I like the addition of the little hardback and also the cards as well. I think all three are definitely important in our morning basket, and the boys love it. They love looking at the pictures. Obviously my children are still very young, so I don't really read much about the text. I just let them look at the pictures, and they usually tell me all the things that they can see, and that's quite enough for them at their age. But of course, as they get older, we can do so much more with those pictures, and we can try copying some of the techniques and stuff, so I'm really, really excited about that. Okay, so we also have colour paddles. I love working with these, and we have a whole set of these with different colours. But they're fantastic because you can do colour mixing, so you can get green by mixing the two together, or you can look at things through the colour like so, and I just find that my children are obsessed with these. They think they're so cool, and I actually think these are so cool too. I love them. They're really fun, such a good way of introducing colours to kids, because I just think they're so impactful, because you can put them over your eyes and everything changes colour. So it's a really great immersive way of introducing colours to kids, and also colour mixing. So I think you do actually get quite good bang for your buck with these, because they're going to last for such a long time when you start teaching your children colour mixing and all that kind of thing too. So yeah, I'm really glad I got these, and I wish I got them earlier. I think I only bought these about 6 months ago, but if I could, I would have bought them as a baby toy as well, because I think they would have been really good fun. Lollipop Sticks. I always have these in our morning basket. They're quite fun to play with, to colour sort, to create shapes with. What else is in here? I've got a sensory toy. This is just like a big stretchy worm-like thing, and because we were studying worms, I thought this was quite fun. And we have a whole packet of these. They're from Amazon, and we had them in our sensory tubs, and they're quite fun for kids when they want to like fiddle with something. Okay, so I've also got these sensory stones. I showed these last month as well. These are from Yellow Door Learning, and they're these lovely tactile shapes, very, very chunky, made out of stone, really hardy. You can again use these in a sensory tub. You can do rubbings, you can trace your finger around them. So really, really nice addition to shape, learning about shapes. And also a nice thing you can do with these, and we've been doing that this month, is to create patterns. So you can create basic patterns with these little shapes and teach that to children too. So I do really like these. They're not just, I feel like you can actually do so much with these. And yeah, on the back it says you can create sequences, take rubbings, pair or match them up, and then hide them in sensory bins. So yeah, they're really fantastic. I think Ladybird Learning maybe was the one who first had these on her stories, and like most of the things that she recommends, I had to go out and get them. So, okay, next up, Bob's books. I mentioned these in the last video as well. We love these. There's a whole load of them that you can get, a whole series. We're on the very first one, which is the pre-reading skills, but the next one will be the alphabet books, which I might get for March, depending on budget. But they are fantastic. They come up with these little very simple stories that kind of help with ideas such as recognizing shapes, or this one is predicting sequences. Right at the beginning, it tells you what the story is meant to be helping the child with, so you can go away and do extra activities around that. For example, with predicting sequences, I could use those yellow door learning shapes and create some sequences, and we can play around with that after the story. Almost done. Phonics. Woo, I have so many weird things falling out of various books. Phonics. Now, I have changed my phonics up. Last month I had the See Hear Do book, which I do really like, and the kids were enjoying, but someone mentioned to me that I should be looking at Jolly Phonics because this is what they use in the UK specifically. So I thought I would give it a go. I actually already had this activity book, but I hadn't dived into it, so I thought I would work on it in February and see how the boys liked it. There's a little story at the beginning that introduces the concept of these characters. There's a little colouring sheet here, some simple activities such as tracing, matching sounds. There was a practical activity for the letter S, so there was like growing shoots on paper, which we did, and Rupert really liked that. There's a little sticker activity, and then it goes on to the next sound. And there is actually music to go with this as well. On YouTube you can look up Jolly Phonics song, and there is a song that goes with it, so we've been singing the song too, and actually it is good. It's quite handy having the activity books. I particularly like the song, that's also good, but I did discover that actually the See Hear Do book has loads of resources on their websites. So you can head over and check that out. They have downloadables, they have activities, so you could do that with the other book too. I don't think one is necessarily better than the other, and I kind of prefer the clarity of See Hear Do a little bit more. I think there's a few like random sounds in this, which I'm not entirely sure about, but I know that Rupert loves lots of pictures, and I felt like this might encourage him a bit more. And I think it has. I feel like maybe that has been a little bit more successful. But I'm still using my Waldorf alphabet book by Vamp Zonveld. I adore this book so much. Basically, it's got all the different letters of the alphabet, and then it has an illustration to go with it. And in that illustration, there are lots of different things to see and point out that all have that letter sound. So really lovely. I do like this a lot, and I think this is a book we'll probably have in our morning basket forever. Okay, so I think that's all the main stuff. Now I've just got my Exploring Nature with Children and also our Read Aloud. This is such a lovely book. It's the Oak Applewood Treasury by Jenny Partridge. Again, shout out to Lady Bird Library for this. And we've been reading the stories from this. It reminds me a little bit of Brambley Hedge, but it is, you know, it's just like different characters and different types of illustration, but it is lovely. So if your children like Brambley Hedge, I think they would really enjoy this. So sweet and very nostalgic and country and lovely. And there's all these different characters and the stories around them. So the treasury is fantastic because you get all of them in one. Let me see, this has got a map about the town, which is very nice to look at, so the boys have been loving that. Then there's Life of Mr. Squint, Life of Colonel Grunt, Life of Hopfellow, and Life of Peterkin Pollen Stuff. So I think we'll be enjoying this for a long time. Gorgeous book, and again, nice one to tie in if you're studying a particular animal, like a mole or something like that. You could use this book. Frog or anything like that, you could tie this in, and I think it's just, yeah, I think it's really sweet and really nice one for tea time. So if you do a special tea time with your kids, that would be really gorgeous. Okay, so moving on to the last bit of my morning basket, which is our books that echo the Exploring Nature with Children curriculum. Now, I do love this curriculum. It's very affordable, first of all, which is fantastic, and it's simple. It has a theme for each week of the year, and for example, it could be earthworms, and it gives you some books that you can read, some ideas of projects, and some facts and that kind of thing, and it's really great. I've been really just dipping into it very gently and using it as inspiration for books to read together. And then what I tend to do is, for example, with earthworms, I make an extra effort to find worms to show to the kids. So for example, when we're out harvesting vegetables on a Thursday, or if we're out in the garden in the afternoon, I make sure I find some worms and we look at them and we sort of point out all the parts of the worm. So that's how we use it. Very simple, but it works well for us. Nature Anatomy by Julia Rothman. This is a beautiful book that has all sorts of things in it. It's very useful for a nature study program because you can pretty much find anything in this. Like there's butterflies, there's nest birds, and little bits about the beach, some more, there's seals. It really does seem to have everything in it. It's fantastic. Some foraging. This is an American book, I'm pretty sure, because some of the trees are ones that you wouldn't necessarily recognize in the UK, but that doesn't matter. A lovely bit with leaf identification. So I do really like this. My boys just particularly like looking at it. I mean, it's so visual and beautiful, but I think as they get older as well, they'll take more interest in the information in it. But it is beautiful, and I try not to let Rupert look at this on his own because he would really happily just run off with this and read it for hours and hours, but I'm trying to keep it in nice condition so he doesn't get to run off with that one. Okay, so I added this little book to our basket this month. It's Trees to Spot. This is an Usborne Minis, and it's quite cheap. I think it's about £3. This is a lovely book that you could take with you when you're going out for walks, because it gives you a nice little basic identification guide for all sorts of trees that you might find in different areas. The illustrations are pretty clear as well, so it is nice for using as identification, but obviously it wouldn't be enough if you wanted to go foraging, and you always want to be more careful in that case if you're going to eat anything. But for basic tree identification, I think this is really good. So something you could pop in your pocket or your bag and take with you. So I do really like this one. We also got the Usborne Woodland book, and this is so gorgeous. I don't think I had this last month. I think this is new for this month, but honestly I can't quite remember. That's the truth of it. So again, it has a little map, guide to the woodland, and then it has just so many wonderful facts about trees and animals and birds and things that you might find in the wood. A lovely little guide to different types of leaves, but on birds, and it just keeps going on and on. It's a really lovely guide. It's got things on mushrooms and footprints, seeds and fruits. It's such a great guide. I'm really impressed with this. There's another section on the bark of the wood. I just adore this. I think it's really gorgeous. Highly recommend it. And the boys love looking at it, and it's a really nice one to tie in if you are doing a nature curriculum, because there are just so many different topics in this that you could do. There's even a section on insects and things like that too, so really wonderful. We've been loving that. And we also bought, I haven't actually done this yet, but this is the Tree Explorer by National Trust. It's an activity book, and I bought this really just to do this slowly with Rupert. There's some colouring, some nice little facts on trees. These are all the stickers that come with it. Nice and simple. Little maze to do, but also there are facts as you go as well, so it's a nice one that you can kind of read with your kids and then do a couple of the activities. So a nice little simple activity book. And then of course my first outdoor book, another Usborne. We love this. This has got these lovely cardboard pages as well, so it's great for toddlers or younger children who like to rip pages. So Rupert often is allowed to take this one off to look at. So there's a nice double page there on trees, nice page on the pond, which we'll be peeking into later. Again, some stuff on tracks, stargazing. So I do like this one for nature study. I think it's really nice, simple, but yeah, it's a good one. It's a keeper. Okay, so then we were studying earthworms. So I have a couple of worm-based books, and these are definitely ones we're going to keep out, I think, because worms are just such a part of gardening, and they are really intriguing to children. This book here is Yucky Worms by Vivian French. So it's got a nice little informative story and these beautiful illustrations in it. Lots, just really lovely, and I like the way it really ties in with the gardening as well. So I think this is going to be gorgeous to carry on reading for spring. So I'll probably put this on our spring bookshelves. So there we go, really lovely. The boys have adored that. And this I'm really pleased with. It's a book, I haven't seen this series before, but it's the Mucky Mini Beast series, and this is the worms. It also has ants, centipedes and millipedes, snails. So there's a whole series of these. But the illustrations are really clear and colourful, and I learnt so much about worms reading this. It was very interesting. And I really like how clear this is. It's not too busy, which is good, you know, when you're trying to keep the attention of a little one. Sometimes that's better. So yeah, loads of really good facts in this book. And then a little bit on composting as well, which we then kind of went off as a side theme. And we've been reading this book here, which is Compost, Stew, an A to Z Recipe for the Earth by Mary McKenna Siddles. Again, I think it's a good time of year to look at things like composting because it is going into garden season for us. So yeah, I thought this would be just really good fun. And Rupert has been absolutely loving this. Beautiful pictures in it, really interesting illustration style, kind of like cutouts. So yeah, beautiful one. And yeah, I felt like that tied in really well with worms, so I was quite pleased with that. Another book, Because of an Acorn, by Lola Schaefer and Adam Schaefer. I love this book. It really shows the transition of a seed all the way to a tree and all the animals that affect it. Really nice, wonderful nature study again. And then finally, I sort of went off on a bit of a side alley on this one, but we did have a field trip, which was to the beach. And so we have this sticker book, which is Sharks, Seahorses and Other British Sea Creatures by Noisy Crow and National Trust. And these are so good. I really, really like these, this whole series. It's the National Trust and Noisy Crow. The other one I got was also a National Trust one, but it's not as good. So this series here is National Trust, but it's not done with Noisy Crow. And you know, like I said, there's not a ton to do in it, but it is nice. This one, on the other hand, is a really good sticker book. And they have a whole series. They have bugs, they have birds, and I think a general wildlife one. But the illustrations are gorgeous. So they have all these different scenes. That's on the sandy shore, on the rocks, hiding in the rock pools, on the seabed. And even without adding in the stickers, there's still loads to see. There we go. And then there's these little prompts to add in your stickers. And they have 102 stickers, which is pretty good. So there's like each coloured section is for a page. And they're really beautifully illustrated. And yeah, I really enjoy this. And Rupert's enjoyed filling it out. I've done a few pages already. And yeah, I think what I like about this is that when you put your stickers in, it actually is a really nice book just to look at. So it's not a waste. Sometimes with sticker books, it feels like you use them and then you kind of discard them. But with this, I actually think it's still very nice to look at, and there's a little bit of information to read. So yeah, I really like this, and I'm excited to get more from this series as well. And yeah, I think that's it now. That's everything in the morning basket. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this. I'm particularly excited to get going with March's basket. I didn't have a huge budget for this month, so I wasn't able to get some of the resources I wanted to get. But for March, I've saved up a bit and I'm really excited to get some special things for the boys. What I've kind of learnt this month, I think, is to keep things simple. At one point, we had quite a lot of stuff in our basket. I had extra sticker books, I had some extra C books, and what happened is the basket became so full that I kind of stopped using it as much. So what I did is I went back in and I culled it down, and it became so much easier to navigate. I think for me anyway, it's, you know, life is so busy with two little ones that everything needs to be as simple and routined as possible in order to get the most success out of it. So yeah, definitely keeping it simple and trying to limit myself to just a couple of books per idea. For example, you know, with the theme of shapes, not to go crazy, maybe just a few resources, and keeping it nice and simple. So for March, I'm definitely going to go quite simple. I've got a new little guide that I'm going to be using for March, which I'm so excited about. Quite a few of you had reached out to me and told me that Whole Family Rhythms, who I'd used last month, and I actually have their whole year of guidebooks. But a lot of you told me that they're not available anymore, so I wanted to find something similar that had that same gentle Waldorf rhythm, but was available to purchase. So I have found a new one. I think it's by Whimsy Days or something like that, but I will show you that in great detail in March. But I like the look of that because it's similar in the sense that it's got something to read aloud, a story, a poem, a nursery rhyme, and it's got that same Waldorf feel, but it's available to purchase. It doesn't have the same activities and things like that in it, but I do think you could find those elsewhere in different books, like the Meadowsweet Year or the Betty Jones book. There's so many other books that you could use to kind of fill in the gaps with that. But yeah, I'm excited to get into March. I'm really excited to sort of move away from winter now. I feel like winter has been beautiful this year, but I'm quite ready to move into spring. And it does kind of feel like spring is here. Like, I'm really starting to feel that shift, which is exciting. And I have been sowing lots of seeds. So yeah, I'm really, really happy to be moving into a new season and to get all our resources to reflect that. But yeah, I will leave you to get on with your day, and I hope you have enjoyed this. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you have. Leave a comment below, and I will be back soon with another video. Bye!